Good morning, children. Hope all are safe and sound. Welcome to English class. Children, let's go through the picture. What do you see in this picture? Children, plants, flowers, birds, sky, butterfly, and rainbow. Then, can you comment on the mood of the children? Yes, they are very happy and delighted. They are very happy. Right. Then what would be the reason for their happiness? It might be the pleasant circumstance and their great achievements. Let's move on to Unit 5, Enlightening Souls. Children, happiness is a person's most cherished goal. But where do we find true happiness? Can a machine serve the purpose? Let's see what happens in the story The Happiness Machine when a man seeks to bring happiness to all around him by constructing a happiness machine. Before moving on to the story, let's know a basic information about the author, Ray Douglas Bradbury. He was born on August 22, 1920, was an American author and screenwriter. He worked in a variety of genres including fantasy, science fiction, horror, and mystery fiction. He is the recipient of numerous awards including a 2007 Pulitzer citation. Many of his works were adapted to comic book, television, and film formats. He passed away on June 5, 2012. Let's start the story The Happiness Machine. Major characters in the story are Leo Huffman, husband, Lena Huffman, wife, and they have 6 children Saul, Naomi, Marshall, Rebecca, Ruth, and Joseph. Their neighbors are Douglas Paulding, 12-year-old boy, Tom, his brother 10 years, and grandfather of Douglas and Tom. One day, Leo Huffman moved slowly through his garage, which he has changed into a workshop for his mastercraft and novel invention, the happiness machine. He started searching for some wood, a coil of wire, a hammer, spanners, and the like. A perplexing question was forming in his mind. Should the machine be something you carry in your pocket or something that carries you in its pocket? Anyway, the machine should make one happy. Children, what is the novel invention according to Leo Hoffman? Yes, it is the happiness machine. His mastercraft and novel invention, the happiness machine. One day, he moved slowly through his garage and he has changed that garage into a workshop for his mastercraft and novel invention, the happiness machine. There, he started searching for some wood, a curl of wire, a hammer, spanners, and the like. Why did he search for all these things? Because he was making a happiness machine. That time, a perplexing question was forming in his mind. What is meant by perplexing? Confused. A confused question was forming in his mind. What was that? Should the machine be something you carry in your pocket or something that carries you in its pocket? That was the question formed in his mind. Anyway, he thought the machine should make one happy, whether it is carried in our pocket or it carries us in its pocket. Then he thought, how can you make one happy? How can you find happiness in your life? What are the feelings associated with happiness? He went into the house with his dictionary and sat on the table where his wife was ironing the clothes. Lena, Are you pleased, contented, joyful, or delighted? So, what did he ask to his wife, Lena? Are you pleased, contented, that is satisfied, joyful, or delighted? What was the intention behind this question? Yes, she wanted to know the feelings associated with the happiness. She stopped the work, read out the list again, please. When she heard this question, she stopped her work and asked him to read out that list again. Closing the book, he said, say yes or no. Aren't you happy, joyful, or delighted? Again, he asked her, aren't you happy, joyful, or delighted? Our domestic ones are contented. Our babies and people of second childhood here are delighted. Do you think whether I am happy doing all these household chores? After heard the question again, Lena answered, everyone in this house are happy, including domestic ones, babies, people of second childhood. All are delighted here. And do you think whether I am happy doing all these household chores? That is household works. She asked him whether she is happy doing all these household things. Leo replied to that question. He is trying to solve all their complaints. I am not complaining, Lee. I never complain. But please don't ask such crazy questions for which you may not get the answer. Lena replied, she is not complaining regarding anything and never complain, but she requested him not to ask such a type of crazy questions. Suddenly, Lena froze and sniffed the air. Oh my God, look at what you have done. While they conversing each other, suddenly Lena froze and sniffed the air, that is, smelled the air, and she said she was shocked that, oh my God, look at what you have done. What had happened there, children? She pulled the oven door open. A thick cloud of smoke whirled through the kitchen. Their food has turned into charcoal, and the smoke, thick cloud of smoke, whirled. Whirled means what, children? Hovering. Hovered through the kitchen. And that's happiness. You talked to me for the first time in 6 months, and for the first time in 20 years, our supper bread has turned into charcoal. Children, according to Lena, what happiness did she get from Leo right now? He talked to her for the first time in 6 months, and when they engaged in their talking, for the first time in 20 years, their supper bread has turned into charcoal. That means after a long time, he spared some time with his wife and talked to her. Leo Hoffman evaded from the kitchen when the smoke subdued. When the smoke subdued means spread. When the smoke subdued, Leo Hoffman evaded, that is, escaped from the kitchen because their supper bread has turned into charcoal and it is his mistake to deviate her concentration from her household works. Clinks, clangs, rings, beeps, sounds of toil echoed rhythmically from the garage. He peered into to see even the slightest happiness on any face and any nook and corner. Those days were without food, rest, and sleep, but he was thrilled to see the machine in shape. Without proper food, rest, and sleep, he had been continuously working on that machine. Some sounds of toil means work, echoed rhythmically from the garage, and he peered while working, he peered into to see even the slightest happiness on any face or any nook. Nook means corner. So he peered to see even the slightest happiness on any face and corner. Though he had been working without proper food, rest, and sleep, he was very thrilled to see the machine in shape. The happiness machine is ready, hushed Leo Hoffman, sneaking into the kitchen. Lee, you lost your pound, son. Our children were lacking your care. But you say the machine is ready. Please leave off with what you are making. Man can't make such changes. Happiness machine is ready, and very happily Leo informed this to his wife, and she replied to that. Lee, you lost your pounds and our children were lacking your care. As he had been not caring or talking with anyone in that house for 6 months. That's why Lena said this. You lost your pounds. You are wasting your money. And now you said that the machine is ready. And she advised him to leave off with what he has been making and added, man can't make such changes. Absolutely right, children. Here, Leo tried to make a machine, happiness machine. He wanted to see happiness on each and every face, but man can't make such changes. He was awakened the next morning by the vague sounds of birds, dogs, and people. The birds were fluttering around the roof, and the dogs were near the door of the garage. People peered over the fence to the garage. The next morning, he was awakened by the vague sound that is not clear sounds of birds, dogs, and people, and the birds were fluttering around that roof, and dogs were near the door of the garage, and the people peered over the fence to the garage. Something happened there. What was that, children? The sound of the happiness machine. That's why everyone gathered there. The garage grabbed the attention of even the birds and dogs. And it was the sort of sound with all kinds of hummings. That's why the garage grabbed the attention of even the birds and dogs, and also people peered over the fence to the garage. Tell me, Lena said quietly, standing by his side looking into the garage. Could that make old men young, or I be happy in that box if you died of overwork? I would be left alone by you and children with all those tedious household tasks. Can the machine get all things done for the house, the kitchen, and the children? So, how should the happiness machine be according to Lena? She stood by his side and looking into the garage and asked him some questions that could that machine make old men young, or I be happy in that box if, and she continued that she would die with all those tedious household tasks. So she asked, can the machine get all things done for the house, for the kitchen, and for the children? Could the machine do all these works? She asked to her husband. That's not how it is made, Leo replied. Then I have got no time to look. I'm sorry. She kissed his cheek and left the room. When Lena came to know that the machine could not do all those household tasks, she was not ready to waste her time to look at that machine. So she said sorry and kissed his cheek and went from there. By seeing Lena's response, he decided to work on that machine next day. And that night, he heard someone crying. He entered the children's room and saw his son, Saul, weeping bitterly, burying his face in the pillow. Saul, you had a nightmare. The boy wept. At that time, in the moonlight, he saw the opened door of the garage. He went there and entered the garage and found the happiness machine terribly hot. And he thought, couldn't the machine make him happy? As Saul had a nightmare and he started weeping. So Leo thought that, couldn't the machine make him happy? It is his intention to make everyone happy. That's why he thought like this.